What's going on, good people, man? This your boy Byron Scott with my guy Cordero, man. We coming to y'all live on another Thursday, man. Yesterday's show was wow, man. If you ain't go get a chance, go check that out. Go check that out. Cordero going crazy on the phone, showing y'all how to shut it down, how to close them up, man. But yeah, man, feeling good today. Um, Shoot, man, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired. But today's show, today's show about to be crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be super,
Today's
man.
show, you're talking to. I got like a Vietnam War veteran flashbacks of this one. This was really in the trenches, digging with a seller, going back and forth. It's one thing to try to sell, and you're in the acquisitions phase of trying to sell an irrational seller. Want too much for the property, asking crazy stuff. But when you're under contract and you're moving to the closing table with an irrational seller who is just like, but one of my favorite things about this business is you can go through a real storm and come out the other side with that check, man. With
Oh
a closed deal, with a
yeah.
seller, no matter what was going on, they're like, oh, my problem solved. They moving on. They on to the next chapter of their life. And you were able to help them out. And just like, that's like mission accomplished sort of feeling. So it definitely great, but I love to kind of, I think we're going to break down this deal for y'all, man. And just, for those of you who have done a deal, you might look at this and say, I can relate. I've been there once or twice or several times. Or for those of you who have never done a deal, this is going to give you a sneak peek into some of the wildest, some stuff that you might see.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Well,
I'm excited about it, man, just to show people like what we be doing, what be happening with these deals, man. A lot of people be wondering how it works, what be going on, stuff like that. So
yeah,
to be able to come to y'all, kind of break it down, show you kind of, what's going on, all that other good stuff, man. I think it's pretty cool. So
for sure. For sure.
for sure, for sure, for sure. But man, this all started out with Cordero telling me about Clarksville, right? So I
Yeah.
guess we should go back there. Me and Cordero, I don't know I think it was maybe Sunday or something like that. We was in a group thing, and Cordero was talking about. I would think it was I was doing a little thing on which market, how to choose a market.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and Cordero was telling me about his market, and he was just telling me. I was like, shoot. It's like, dang, boy, that market sound real good. It sounds exactly like what I'm talking about. Uh,
The ideal,
so
ideal market. Actually, months before that, before I had even gotten to the mastermind, before I had even gotten to the um to the Sunday group or anything like that. I actually did, Rick. I don't know if you remember this. I recommend. I was like, man, Clarksville's popping. This was like when I first. I think I was just watching your lives and I called you. I was like, hey man, I'm doing a deal in Clarksville. Oh, by the way, it's a hot market. You might want to check it out. He was just like, nah, I ain't really. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he used
yeah, I really
to.
wasn't feeling him on that right there, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it was dumb on that, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, but when in the group, we got a chance to like really. We was breaking down based upon the criteria that we give you what makes a hot market. And we analyzed, I was like, let's check out Clarksville, dog. Let's see if it's really hot. And it hits a lot of the points. It hits a lot of the points. And I think, and then some. And there are several markets all over the country that hit these points and then some. And so if you're not in Tennessee, if you're not in Georgia, maybe you in Ohio, maybe you're in Massachusetts, just some random place. There are markets that will, you got to find the right markets. Um, but they hit, but it was that day for sure, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. And there's a couple of things I'm looking for in the market. One, like is it close to a major metro? You know what I'm saying? Like 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, something
Metro.
like that.
Yeah.
And then like, does it have 100 to 200 ish thousand people? You know, and then if it has a college, if it has military base, those are all just pluses, pluses, pluses. So and Clarksville just boop, check by check by check by check by check by. I'm like, man, I might have to mess with you up there, man. So
Oh, for sure.
so we end up going and doing some Cordero was calling up there, started texting up there, and then shoot, actually this lead came through it came through a wrong number. And we
The-
was gonna go back and show y'all the text messages that we sent them, but it was wrong number. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, we can't hardly find out where we was texting this person because we text the wrong number, so it had the wrong person name and stuff like that. So you know, this deal that we talking about um came all off of a wrong number. We are going to show y'all like all the stuff that went into the deal, as far as paperwork and stuff like that. um Let me see, man, if I could pull this up.
Yeah, man. Also, too, not even just the fact that it came off a wrong number is like in that process, we switched text platforms a couple of times. So it's just like when you switch them, it's kind of hard to keep up with where it's at. But definitely because it was a wrong number, which, man, that's crazy. Because we said this, man, I just need phone numbers. Just give me phone numbers. You know what I mean? And just run them through our marketing system, whether it's texting, whether it's calling, just reaching out. Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know if I had the right number. I was just calling this about a property and in
Yeah.
this zip code. Are you on a property in that area? Okay, that's how I start my calls anyway, whether I know it or not. So, um, but we were texting Joe Schmo, Steve Madden, Tom Brady, I think is who we were reaching out to, and then
Hey,
somebody
what's the last digit of that phone number? Do you still got a phone number?
probably,
I think if
probably.
I can get that last digit of the phone number, I might be able to find that message.
All I know is the first dude name was Thomas, by the way.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. It might be in here, it might not. But yeah, man, I don't see it in here, but either way, shoot, the lead came through. I think was Laura was the first one to touch it. We text him, and then lead manager was the first one to touch it. She sent it over to Cordero. And did we get her locked up? Like we didn't get her locked up right away. She was talking about she wanted what, 340.
You need the you said like the very last digit.
Yeah,
4.
gotcha. But
Um, the conversation at this point was all over the phone. It was verbal. I think when Laura sent it to me, I was talking with her, but I remember I had like oftentimes I'll be talking, but I had Byron on the phone. I was talking to her on my computer. When we actually uh, went ahead to go in and lock her up, I think I may have had a preemptive conversation before this one where we actually got her locked up, which is nothing out of the ordinary. She let me know kind of what she was wanting, what she was needing, her circumstances and situations. And I think we were just like briefly looking into the area. Um, or Byron was looking into the area. It was just like, I think we might be able to make that work. Again, I think one key point that we're haven't mentioned yet, the fact that this is a wrong number. We were marketing in Clarksville and it was a wrong number. The property is not in Clarksville. You know what I mean? So what ended up happening was because obviously I'll be able to kind of assess whether like the numbers, whether we can make something work out of it or not. If it were in Clarksville, this was on the opposite end of the state. Clarksville is like North Tennessee, almost like literally on the border of Kentucky, like the very like you some literally on the border of Kentucky. And she had a property in Chattanooga, which was literally on the border of Georgia. It was on the outskirts of Chattanooga in a place called Hickson, Hickson, Tennessee. And so this was a completely wrong number. I think the conversation was, "Hey, Thomas, we're calling about it. We're reaching out about a property." She was like, "No, I mean, I do want to sell it, but such and such." And then we reached out and we was like, "Hold on." I think I called her like, "Hey, I was calling to speak to Thomas." Yeah. When I called, I still thought it was the first guy. "Hey, Thomas." She was like, "No, this is Kelly." And she told me how she has the property. She told me where it's at. And she kind of started telling me about her situation, how she divorced couple, another divorcee, or however you say it. And she's want to sell it. It's vacant. She lives in another property that she inherited, and this property is just sitting there. And then when she said Hickson, I'm like, a town called Hickson, Tennessee. I ain't never heard of it. It probably ain't nothing. But lo and behold, it's actually like a nice. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's like the outskirts of Chattanooga. It's like where if you live in Chattanooga, this is probably where the wealthier
Oh
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like right across from my house was like a ridiculous house.
How much?
Yeah.
Hey, how much was that? How much? It was like
It
it
was
was on
like
the lake,
7 million. It
right
was like
across the lake.
14 million or something like that.
No, it was up, dog. It was like 16.9 million.
Yeah, it was stupid. It
I
was
think it was
stupid.
yeah, I think it was the same that Byron paid for his house that he in now.
Man, get out of here.
But nah, it was actually on a lake. I don't know if it was necessarily like her property wasn't necessarily lakefront property, but right across the lake was like this mega mansion, and it was beautiful. It was an estate. It would not know. You don't call this no crib and no house. This was an estate.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure, man. It was
but
crazy.
upon looking at it, I was like, oh wow. So again, it was a wrong number, and we were kind of adjusting on the fly because we're like, this ain't our market. This ain't my market. This ain't Byron's market. I ain't never done a deal in this area, but we was adjusting on the fly, and we were seeing if I think in the midst of that conversation, we're working to see if our buyers just like are interested. I think we was doing the numbers. She said the price range that she need to be in. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. She started off at like 380,
Yeah.
380, 385 or something like that. Oh boy. Boy, what
She
did we end
started
up
off
getting
at
her at?
380, and then I think what happened was we asked Wedgwood what's the most they can offer, and they said 365 or something like that.
Nah, they played us. They played us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We asked them how
Yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
offer. They said 365, like
They
360,
played us.
365. So we got this lady at 380. They said they got for 36, 365. So we went back and Cordero got her locked up at 350.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then
Then once he
yeah,
got her locked up, and he go to the contract right here. Once he got her locked up at 350, then
they came back and played us, dog.
came back. Yeah, they came back and said, "Oh, uh, the best we can offer is 320."
Now it was like three. Yeah, it was 320. We ended up talking them back up. Yeah, not. I think it was three. I think it was like three. 29. I'm not sure, but it was something around there like 320. I don't think that detail is super crazy, but I think the point was they was basically hitting us with like, we don't know. That's kind of out the way. I mean, yeah, we buy properties down there. We'd be interested, but it's so far. So we would need it at 360, because when we got her at like she was talking 385, like this was a property that ARV at like 4+ hundred, closer to $500,000, like up there. And so when we put it out there to them, I think that they got like a max buy price at 400,000. So we were just like, we're asking 400,000, and then they responded to us with saying, well, we don't know. We're probably a little bit lower on this one. We don't know if you got basically it's like saying, well, we can't touch that 400,000. We would come in so much lower than that. We don't even want to insult you, sort of situation. Like, no, give it to us. It was like, okay, but I think we'd be at 460 on this one. Um, and then when we came back, we were just like, hey, we got it. We got the 460 worked out. They was just like, I
Yeah,
didn't.
360.
They was just like 360, excuse me, 360. They kind of hit it. Was like, oh, I didn't even think y'all could actually get down that low. Actually, we can only do like 320. And
Yeah.
whatever, you know what I mean? 320. And so I was like, and then, but we had to talk them up because I think they was actually at 329 because that's the number. That's the number we end up. That was the original purchase price
Yeah.
that you got right here, that 350. So it always suck. My take on it is when I'm talking with the seller and negotiating with them, I want to be if we got to get them down, and this is the benefit of being able to go reach out to your buyers ahead of time. Is if we got to get them down, I want to go ask them one time for the price reduction and one time only. But if your buyer is on some crazy stuff like they was, sometimes you got to go back and ask them again for the price reduction, and you just got to work your magic in that case. But I guess this will be a good time, Byron, is to tell them about the crazy contingency, the odd stipulation that she put in that she requested.
Yeah, man. So we got this lady, she want 350, and we need to get it down to like 320, 315 or something like that. Cordero's, need to talk her down, and she's like, hey, look, I got these other companies is offering me money, offering me the same price, but she was saying that, hey, look, if y'all can do $15,000 up front, you know, as a cash advance, then she would go with us or whatever. Wasn't it something like that?
Actually, it was when we was talking about this 350 right here. That's why you see us on this original before. This wasn't after we got her at 350 and then we used the 15K to get her down from that. To get her down from 380 to 350, she was asking for that. And we was just like, I mean, yeah, go ahead, do it because we thought that this was going because this is before we even reached out to this might this was before we reached out to Wedgwood when we agreed on the 15K because again the only reason why we agreed on this 15K up front or she said if she requested 1% at or whatever I think 1% at closing or something like that which amounted to about 15K or 5% whatever but because we thought we were going to have a larger spread. Again, the ARV on this property was 500,000, close to 500,000, and we had her at 380 to begin with. So we was like, man, if we can get her down to 350, we got some spread on this property to go ahead and get it sold. This might be a 100K lick.
It might be a big deal.
This might be a big deal. So we agreed to that up front. We were just like, yeah. Again, I remember I had Byron on the line and he was just like, just say yes. Say yeah, because that's the thing we love to. It's important to say yes to the sellers because your job is to solve their problem. Don't be the guy saying no to people and figuring out what we can't do. Just try to figure out a way to make that work. You know what I mean? Try to figure out a way to get them what they need. And that's how this is a way of solving problems. And I'm not saying yes yourself to death or say yes until you put yourself in a tight situation. Because ultimately we did end up putting ourselves in a tight situation. We worked our way out of it. But I think that the point is we were centered and focused on getting the seller what she needs so that way we can get the deal done. But once we realized that the numbers were tighter than we originally thought, that's when we got the Wedgwood down. They came back and was like, oh, we're at 360. And we're like, okay, we got to get her at 350. And so we already agreed on this 15K at closing. So we put this out there and sent it over to her. I don't know. Did we actually get her to sign this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got her to sign this one and Wedgwood was at 360. I think then they went to go look at it. I'm not sure. I think they went to go look at it.
Yeah.
And then they was just like, yeah, no, we down at 320. Actually, but no, I got a strong feeling, if my memory serves me correctly, before they even went to go look at it, they was talking about 320. Because yeah, they was in that, like, it was 329 actually. I think there was like 329. They went to go look at it, and then we got them up a little bit. Um, but we got her locked up at this price, and we're thinking, okay, we got some. And then when they came down to 320, 329 or whatever, we was like, dog, this 15K. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself because that 15K kind of unravels a bit.
Yeah, that shoot, we end up like saying, yeah, we'll do it 15K, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
And
go,
then
go, go,
yeah,
go, go.
yeah, we like, let's go.
Yeah,
So
man.
we went ahead and moved forward and did it, or at least was gonna do it. We get it over to the attorney's office, and then like my transaction coordinator, all these people was like, look, uh, nah. Like, you don't need to get this lady no $15,000. Like, she gonna take this money and she can run with it, if she wanted to. And it's gonna be hard to get it from her. But yeah, man. So that was crazy. And
So how I got her down from this 350 to that 320, because that comes after that. So how I got it down from 350, they came in at like 329. And so we was just like, we at least need to get her down as low. How low can you go? Can you go down low? You know what I mean? Um, and so I just asked, I was just like, what do we need? Can we get this done? And she was just like, I got, I work some magic. I was on the phone. The call recording is somewhere. I was just kind of talking to her, seeing what's really important to her. This is the time where you're not talking about just numbers, numbers, numbers. You're really seeing, okay, what's the most important thing to you? We've already committed, we've already gotten this far. What do we need? Obviously, her getting that 15K, because she was talking like, there were some other people who were offering her stuff. Like Byron said, there were some other people who were interested in the property. They were recommending this, and she was just like, yeah, but they're taking too long. They can't perform on that, and yada, yada, yada. Really what she was saying was they ran into a similar problem that we ended up running to shortly after this conversation. Was they were probably like, we can't just give you no doggone 15K. She was just like, no, no, no. They said that's not a problem. I'm like, right. Then why did they give it to you?
yeah, for
Right.
sure.
But that's what I used to get her down. I was like, okay, we can do the 15K. We can still do the 15K, and we can close on the property in this time. But because, we went to go look at it, we sent our appointment specialist over, and it was like a hoarder property, right? It was just like way too much stuff going on, dog. So it was just like, we're going to need to come down because we got to think about this and that and this and that. Whew. Hoarder property. Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind because that does come up. And then I got her down, talking to her, got her down to that 320. And then, okay, we're ready. Let's go ahead and submit her the money because our buyer ends up telling us that they're going to need to get and this is the property.
Yeah.
Dog, this is the first time I've ever seen the property. That property, all this, all this leg work. First time I seen the property, but that property almost clean. That looked like the J. Cole property from his album cover,
Yeah.
the bigger version. But got her down. So we, like Byron said, we're going to go send the money. He's going to go send the money, and she's talking about
Oh
what she
yeah,
needs.
I was at the bank going to send him money.
Yeah, yeah. And she's talking about I
And I,
need this. It was then they start putting pressure that the property needs to be cleared out. Well, not as much. They were just like property needs to be cleared out. And I was talking with her, and I said something to the effect of, "Well, I need you to get as much cleared out as possible. We might be able to get like some sort of if you can't get it all cleared out, we might need because I never saw the property. I didn't know what it was like, and it was a hoarder property according to them. So she was trying to like take a couple things and leave it like it'll cost them an extra several $1,000s to get it cleared out. And so we're trying to send the money, and she's hitting me up talking about, oh, I need the money to clean the property out. I also need the money to pay for my daughter's surgery. I also need
oh,
money to put some rims on my car. I need to get some veneers. I want to fly to Cuba.
she said I got $0 in my bank account. That's what got me.
Dog,
She's
and
like, I
I'm
got nothing in my bank account, $0. I'm like, hold on, man. So you gonna give a broke person some money? No, dude, you can't give no broke person no money.
Man, look, it was ultimately, I'm exaggerating about the stuff she was saying. She was basically what she was telling us that she needs, we thought she needed the money to move out. And she's saying, I'm relying on that money because I need it for to pay my bills and all of this other stuff. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You didn't tell us all of that. But then I'm like, hold on, Byron, we're trying to get the money sent. And, I'll let you know as soon as we get it wired over to you, sent to you, yada, yada, yada. And now Byron's going to send it, and the attorneys just red flagging this thing. They're like, nah, dude, do not send that. Are you
Yeah. Well, I
crazy?
called my transaction coordinator. It's like, hey, I'm finna send this over to the attorney's office. Let them know. You know what I'm saying? This and that. She was
Yeah,
like, I talked to the attorney's office about this, and they were saying that we shouldn't do this. Yeah. So I talked to my transaction coordinator. She was like, nah, don't do it. Don't do it. She works in the attorney's office, by the way. So she do like closings all the time. So she was telling me like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. It just would be a mess if something happened.
that's
Um,
dangerous. That's
yeah,
a dangerous combination. Because
yeah,
a person who's really in need and in a tough situation, and then they giving you all this money, or you giving them all this money, and you got to rely on them
before.
to deliver on their end. Yeah, for sure. It's like, what's to say you don't? Who says
Yeah,
you don't? She gave me all the, and then so I had to go deliver the news. Like, man, we were absolutely going to send that. That was our agreement. But the attorneys red flagged us. They said we can't do this, but we need to figure out how to continue to move forward. And what was really what was giving me the red flags? Byron was like cautious because she was talking about how she didn't have no money and yada yada yada.
yeah,
What was giving me the red flags was the fact that she seemed more concerned on getting this 15K than just closing on the property. I'm like, well, if you just get the property cleared out and we close on it, you're gonna have all your money. You're gonna have the full amount. You don't even need the 15K. You'll get
yeah,
everything.
dude. She was coming up with all kind of excuses why she couldn't clear that property out. Um,
I'm talking about, boy.
She said she has some jewelry in there from 1882 that's been buried up under the house, and she don't want anybody. Seriously, dude, she said she has some jewelry there that was very valuable, but
She
she
said it
don't
was
know
like
where it is
eighty
inside
thousand
of the property.
dollars worth of jewelry. Jewelry. That's how DJ Khaled say jewelry. He'd be like jewelry, jewelry.
Yeah,
Right.
dude,
I'm in there
eighty
thinking you
thousand
got
dollars
eighty
worth.
thousand dollars worth of jewelry off in that thing. But again, this was a divorced couple. I don't know this lady from a hole in the wall. I don't know her from a can of paint, but I think her husband was in that, like, he was well off. He was well to do, and I think she was anticipating that he left some jewelry in there, and she was trying to find that jewelry. I asked about it, but I didn't want to seem like I was poking too hard about the jewelry. So I asked about it once. I don't know if she really gave me an answer. I don't know if she ever actually found it. But I didn't want to keep re-asking about the jewelry, making it seem like I got some sort of vested interest in the in the jewelry. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, whatever, leave that alone. But and she was just like, I got all of this planned out. And I think ultimately, after we were able to get the deal done, I think really what the holdup was, again, and take this to the bank, y'all. Every people are okay with it as long as you set that expectation up front.
For
And
sure.
if you set an expectation up front and deviate, some people they just got their next 5 moves planned out based upon what y'all agreed on, that they just got so hung up on that. It ain't even about, moving. But so just keep that in mind. So whatever expectation you set from the very beginning, that's why on my calls I even say, hey, just wanted to let you know I work with the network of investors. I'm not acting like I'm the buyer, because I know if I set that expectation, because at one point she even, we'll get to that. I'm getting ahead of myself, but they know that you're working with buyers and stuff like that. So just set the expectation up front. But we set the expectation that she would be getting 15K. And I think she started to bank on that she would be able to pay all her bills. Her daughter had surgery, which again, It's a real situation that she had to deal with. And so we were trying to say, okay, I was trying to say, okay, well, here's how we can solve that problem. We can't give you 15K up front. However, we can pay to get somebody to come clear the property out. We can pay for that, and then we can get that cleared out in a week, and you can close on the property. You will have all your money because we're not closing on the property and giving her 15K, right? We're giving her, we're taking the closing proceedings and just giving her 15K out of that up front is what we were doing. And so it's not like she was getting an extra 15K. It's like she was just getting 15K in advance. We're advancing her. And so I was like, how about you just let us pay for the closing, or excuse me, for the moving expenses, which we can do that. You know, we can still come out of pocket some money and we can get it moved out maybe in a couple of days, less than a week, and we can close, boom, like that. You don't even live in the property. She doesn't even, nobody lives there.
Yeah.
And then you get all your money. And she was just like, but I need that 15K. And I'm just like, ma'am, I just gave you a viable solution. Why you more focused on the 15K than this obvious solution? That was what was
she me. Wasn't worried about no solutions.
I think again, man, after it was all said and done, because at that time, at the moment, we just like, man, what you got up your sleeves? Like, what you got up your sleeve?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what she had going on, man. She just,
yeah,
the whole situation sounds fishy. You dead broke. You got hidden jewelry in the house. And you really ain't talking about closing. You just talking about
that 15K and only that 15K. So it's like, but after we closed on it and she was at peace with the whole thing and she was able to close, we got to the closing table. It made me realize that this, in hindsight, we were kind of leery because it's like, lady, just don't sound right. But I think again, what it was she had expectation and she had a way that she needed to get things moved. And because I was doing a lot of the talking. I was doing a lot of the communication back and forth with her, and she was really letting me know all of the stuff she was dealing with. And at one point, when she was just trying to let us know, like, I need that 15K, it was like she was telling me all of the stuff, and she was like, I didn't even really want to have to discuss all of this and let you know all of the different variables that we got going on. But I got this going on, my daughter's surgery, and so I can see that. But I'm like, lady, I can see where you coming from. But if you're going to act like you can't see where we coming from at all, it just make us feel unsettled. You know what I mean? But we still have vested interest. And ultimately, because what ended up happening was then we were able to agree on that 3K. That's what we were able to get. We was like, well, let's come to, we gave her all types of solutions, dude. All type of solutions.
And this is the addendum right here where we changed it. So we showed you the original contract. Here's the addendum where we changed it from 15K to 3K cash advance. And we changed the closing date.
Why is that though? We had to change the closing date because at this point in time, the buyer began to put pressure on us that the property needs to be cleared out.
Completely cleared out.
Not a single diamond from her hidden jewelry chest could be left on the ground. And because they were letting me, again, I hadn't seen the property, but then they started letting me know, like, no, this is a hoard, like this is more than you think. And she was telling me, then she started telling me, like, basically she had been using the property like for storage, like as a storage unit. So it was her stuff in there, some of her ex-husband stuff in there, some of her mom's old stuff in there, some family member stuff, like they were using it as a storage, which I thought was just crazy. And so they're like, nah, dog, we can't leave none of that stuff in there because it's like if you give a mouse a cookie sort of situation. And I mean, I was like kind of opposed to it because I was thinking like, dude, the buyer acting like the property got to be cleared out. It's like, dog, whatever. But that's this particular buyer. Again, if we'd have had a buyer who could purchase the property with all the stuff attached and tell the seller, hey, we could just, I know some of y'all be pitching this without even knowing if the buyer was willing to do that or not. But you could be like, hey, yeah, just take whatever you want, leave what you don't want, and we'll clean up the rest. You be saying that. But we couldn't do that with this buyer. And
Yeah.
so if we'd have had a buyer who was cool with her leaving the stuff in the property and they'll just clean it out, then that'd have been good. But she had so much stuff it'll cost money. So they started putting pressure on us that the property needs to be cleared out. And so she was just like, I need more time. And this was she was like, I need more time. She needed more time and we ended up agreeing to that 3K instead of 15K. This I don't want to skip right to this addendum because it was a lot that kind of went into us going back and forth to even get that 3K to be agreed upon, because we even offered her, again, this is handling objections. When a problem come up while you're in the midst of a deal, you don't just lay down. You don't just be like, oh man, you got to get in there and figure out how to solve that problem. Right? It's like, what can we do? And that's why I mentioned to you guys, we were positioning. How about we do this? How about we do that? We even offered to give her like a stipend. Like if you don't feel confident in us just paying for the movers, but you want to pick your own movers because you don't trust anybody to come to the property,
Oh, yeah,
then
that was another thing.
it was a lot of dog. It was one thing after the other. She didn't feel confident, so we couldn't do that. And she was just like, nah, I'd rather you guys just give me the money. We can't do the stipend. We were like, okay, well, what? Or then we offered the stipend, was just like, okay, you go find your own personal movers and then you invoice us and then we'll send the money over. And she was just like, well, nah, I don't want to do that because then I'll have to invoice you for everything and then I have to run everything by you. Then I have to go back and forth and I don't want to do that. And I was like, all right, okay, I understand. So shout out Jordan, man. But
Jordan coming through. What's up, man?
yeah, man. And then we got it.
What's going on in the St. Louis over there in Nellyville, man?
I'm going down, down, baby.
Yo Street in the rain. Who else that is from St. Louis? Who that is from St. Louis, man?
Shoot, we got some more folks we got multiple people from St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis, man. Who is that? Chinky? Is Chinky from St. Louis?
Oh, you talking about rappers, dog? I thought you talking about I don't know, man. Murphy Lee.
Some female rapper, somebody that made a song recently from St. Louis. I think it's I don't know. Megan Stallion is from Houston, right?
She from Texas.
I think it's Sexy Red is from St. Louis. Then.
Oh man.
You don't know who that is?
Nah.
Being around so many kids, man, you know what I'm saying, teaching all that stuff. Akon from St. Louis. I ain't know Akon from St. Louis, man.
Right,
I
Akon
think
is
that girl Sexy Red, she got a song called Ski or something like that. Literally a whole song. She just sang it over again. Ski.
Akon is from Africa, man. Akon
is
no, for real. He from Africa. Like he's African. He just came over here, and I think he lived in Ohio. I thought it was like Ohio, but I'm gonna take your word for it. Let's say it's St. Louis. But do y'all know that Akon got his own like city in Africa now?
What? Dang,
yeah,
a whole city.
That's how I know he from, because I like watched him, like look, checked out his story or whatever. Born in Africa, but he like was raised over here. I think you're right, dog. I'm gonna go ahead and take your word for it. I thought it was Ohio, but I'm gonna go ahead and say St. Louis.
Hey,
look it up. I'll take your word for it, dog.
Go ahead and check
me. But I know, and people be thinking I'm playing. He would go back and forth from Africa over the summer. Right, exactly. So yeah, I believe you. But people be thinking I'm playing when I say Akon got a city, because that sounds crazy. You know what I mean?
Hey, but he got that was what, 3-6 Mafia, 8 Ball and MJG.
Project Pat. Shoot, we talking. What's a Project Pat brother name?
Project Pat. Who else it is?
What Project Pat brother name? He be like Mafia.
Juicy J.
Juicy J.
Juicy J from Tennessee.
Yeah, that's Project Pat brother.
Juicy J, baby.
Then you got the new dudes. You got like, I don't know. These young rappers, bro, they crazy. Dolph. You got Yo Gotti. You know what I'm
talking about? Yo Gotti be coming with it though.
Man, I'm a Dolph fan. And then I don't
Yeah,
think it's like a beef. I don't know if it's like a city beef, but I'm a Dolph fan. Oh yeah, Gotti got some bangers. Got some classic hits.
dude,
Um,
got it, got some, man. I'll be rocking when they got it though. Oh yeah,
but yeah,
but yeah, man, for sure. 3K, man, is what we end up selling with it at. We was like, hey, look, what would you feel comfortable with to make sure we get you out? Because we base that to look, $15,000 off tape.
it's gone. You doing all this fussing and stuff like that, lady. We not doing no 15K. She was trying to objection handle me. I'm like, ma'am, that don't make no doggone sense. It's over with. It's over with. So with
Yeah.
that, but here's the thing. This is why we had to push the closing date back. I think this is around the time Shorty tried to jump over us
Oh
and
yeah.
call herself going to the bar. But what she really was trying to do was she was talking with me, and I was just like, we need this, and we need you to get out the property by this date or whatever. And she was just like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to shout out to Catherine, our closing attorney. She's like, I'm gonna reach out to Catherine. And she kept like reaching out to Catherine, who's the head closing attorney. I'm going to talk to Catherine. Does Catherine know that you guys are trying to, close on this date? And I was like, you do know that Catherine's just a closing attorney. We're the buyer. You do know that, right? You know that Catherine didn't put a penny of this 3K up to help you move out. So you don't skip over us. Catherine's just a lady who sets up the closing. She just
Yeah, that's it.
puts that
Catherine
together.
working for us.
Yeah, we're paying Catherine, by the way. Just in case you
Exactly.
didn't know. We are the ones who paying Catherine, and we are the ones who paying you. So you hit me
Oh
with
yeah.
that. We need to talk
I
to
think
Catherine.
one
I'm like,
thing that we left out is that, and Cordero said this at the beginning, the reason we was willing to put up the 15K is because we thought this was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Because they had other properties around there that was selling like in the millions. You know,
Rolex said, ain't no way, boy.
yeah, ain't no
Ain't
way.
no
But we
way.
remember we thought it was a big deal. Like we was
Nah,
like
this was gonna be. Let
Cordero,
me
we
ask you
was like,
something, Rolex.
man, this could.
Put this in the chat, Rolex. If it was 100K deal, would you put up 15K to get 100K? I don't know, like
That's
a just wholesale. Would you do that? Let me know. Let
yeah,
me know.
that's what I'm saying. That's why we was like, shoot, we can get this though. You know what I'm saying? You know, at least we knew that, hey, look, we can even go ahead and agree to this, go ahead and say yes to this, you know, even if we needed to change it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And we was like, shoot, this could be 100K deal. Like, if
it's,
this is 100K deal, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, let's get it done.
yeah.
You know
Like,
what I'm
what's the
saying?
difference
So
between risking putting up the money for a flip and a rehab? You know what I mean?
yeah, for
Putting
sure.
15K down on it. You know what I mean? Because that money might not come back to you.
But
Anything.
we knew that we was gonna lock in before we did any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was gonna lock in before we gave away 15K. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, same way we locked in for we even did the 3K. You know, we wasn't gonna give up 3K without being locked in.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. But
Yeah.
now, man, like that area, like Cordero was saying, like it was $1 million properties selling in that area. You know what I'm saying? It was going way high. So
Hickson, Tennessee. Who'd
yeah,
have known? I've been living in Tennessee all my life. No,
and
never.
they bought that mug from us and just listed it back on the market. Shoot, we probably could have freaking. Hey, man, I wish we would have been, you know, listing properties under contract back then.
Hey, that'd have
But,
been one, dude. That'd have
yeah,
been one. Oh, for
that
sure.
would have been a good one. That would have been a good one for sure. But yeah, I agree with you, Rolex, man. Shoot, I wouldn't just put up 15K, you know, if I didn't think I was getting into something that was gonna be showing up. But yeah, man, we ended up bringing it back down to 3K, right? So at this point, the purchase price is 320, you know, because the buyers went over there and looked at it, and the
Yeah.
purchase price is 320, and
We ended up getting
the
the buyers back up, by the way.
the what that
We ended up getting the buyers to come up, though, by the
oh
way.
yeah, because the buyers was at 328.
And they was at 329 and came up to 332.
Yeah, that's what it was. Ended up coming up 332.
And I want to see some pictures of this thing. It's got some pictures on the inside.
Yeah, so this is the property right here.
Let's check this
Um,
out real quick before we
looked
continue the
like it
story.
had like roof leaks or something like that. That's what it looked like.
Oh no, no.
But they cleaned that mug out though. They was talking about it's a hoarder house. You could tell there was a bunch of junk in there, but they cleaned that mug for sure. But if they able to sell it for $3.99, I mean, shoot, that worked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could have listed that mug for $3.99.
Shoot, yeah, we could have
And
made.
that's a big house, man. That's a big house. If
I
you
mean,
think about
if they sell this mug for anything close, I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna feel a little bit of a way. You know what I'm saying?
man, my motto is I don't have no FOMO. There ain't no looking back. We got it,
No,
got
no,
it.
no, 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 no. I'm just saying. I always look back to say, I ain't gonna let it happen again. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Show
you
for
know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Show
It's
for
like,
sure, man.
yeah, I always look back. Just like I lost that $500 earnest money. I ain't letting that happen again, dude.
'Cause I lost my earnest money one time.
Dude, I
I
lost. Yeah, dude. I lost a deal, a 20K deal, because the attorney's office wasn't ready to close on the closing date. I ain't letting that happen again, man. I'm hitting that attorney's office up every day, making sure we ready to close. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that.
yeah, I feel
So
you. I,
yeah, I
I
always
don't have.
look back.
I know folks that had like serious FOMO, and like I remember I had this one dude I partnered with. And he just it would be like a year later, and he just like, man, you remember that deal? I'm like, bro, we've done so many deals, bro. Keep it moving. But I definitely identify with the sentiment of never again because you tend to learn a lot more from your mistakes than from your successes and your dubs. So it's like if you take a loss, if they do get it, and that's why I'm so adamant also too right now is us pushing this whole like let's figure out how to put properties on market because I know there's great opportunities that we can help sellers out even more. So if we can figure out a way to do that and make the process super seamless for them. But that sentiment of never again, I think everybody don't walk around with FOMO like thinking about that deal, but definitely learn from that mistake and think about that mistake to strengthen your game going forward. And you like, bro, I never did that again.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But
No,
just so you guys know, she's still being difficult. She's definitely still being difficult. You thought we was over the hurdle? No, we're not. So we push it out, and then we get to a point where we gotta actually get into that closing date, and she still ain't got the property cleared out.
oh
And
yeah, man.
she tried to. That's also she tried to reach out to us. Then she's actually like, I don't. Catherine doesn't usually do this. Our closing attorney doesn't usually do this. I think this was just a simple miscommunication. But she skipped over us and communicated directly with the buyer and was like, "Hey, what do y'all want to do?" It was like, hold on, don't forget about us. Don't forget about us. Considering we're paying, we got money already invested in this. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Um, and so there was just a little bit of miscommunication. And from that point on, she was just like, "Your buyers are this, the buyers are that." Or she talking to
Well,
me.
she called Catherine and was like, "Hey, can the buyers give me until Monday to close?"
Yeah, and then Catherine was just like,
Catherine talked to our end buyer and was like, "Hey, the seller want the Monday to close." We like, no. It's
I think that
like
was just a miscommunication,
Catherine
honestly.
nor the buyer understand what this lady got going on. Like this
Yeah.
lady is dead broke. She got
Mhm.
our $3,000 in her pocket. She don't want to move this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then when she don't move it out, the buyer don't want to close. It's like, no, man, we got to tell this lady, no, you got to get this junk out of here by this date. Period. So, like that was our fight. Like we had to fight to make sure that we was the only one talking to this lady, and that we set the you set the line and said, "Hey, you got to be out."
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly. It's like we understood that at this point in the conversation, the communication with the seller was that we need to be firm with our hand in this. And
yeah,
then if you give her leeway, what they didn't realize is by giving them leeway, oh, yeah, yeah, sure. No, you
yeah,
just gave the mouse a cookie. And that's exactly
exactly.
you feel me? That's exactly what they did because they were just like, okay, we was supposed to land on a Friday, and she was like, "Can we push it to Monday?" I was like, "Y'all don't do that." Or Byron really was like, "Don't do that." And then she did
Yeah,
pull that
dude.
whole stunt where she kind of around us, and then they gave her the Monday. Can
Yeah.
we
I
close
done
on Monday?
seen
No,
you
she
back it
told
up,
me
back
about
it
like
up, back it up.
as soon as they gave her the green light that we can close on Monday, I think maybe Friday afternoon or like Saturday morning, she was just like, I'm not gonna be out by Monday. Where does that leave us from there? She texted me and was like, I'm not gonna be out by Monday. Where does that leave us from there? And I was just like, what do you mean? Why did you even request to close on Monday if you wasn't gonna be out on Monday? And so I think we ended up closing like that following week or something like that, whatever. But and guess what? Ultimately, and she was telling us just as she was letting us know that she had to like do some other things and get some money from other places to help her with all her expenses that she had. She actually at one point to get that 15,000 when she was trying to fight it, she even offered. She was just like, "Well, tell your team I've got a. It was a car. It was a 2015 Lexus. You can have the
Oh
title."
man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The foolery that this lady had going on, man, was next level foolery,
The foolery, the
dude.
tomfoolery that
The
this lady was
Tom
on.
foolery was next level. You offered us a freaking car, dude.
Byron, you should have took that car, man. You should have took the
Man, that
title
was,
to that whip, dog.
dude,
But
that was
she was just like, well, you guys got the. She was like, something. If you give me the 15K, you guys already got this. I was like, well, what about this? She was just like, you guys could just put it. I was talking to my attorney, and he said you could just if I don't end up delivering, you guys can just put a lien on the property, ma'am. That's just a lien on the property. And we would never see that money until you sell the property. You could just never sell the property, run off with our 15K and live in paradise. 15K richer. Whatever
yeah,
you can
dude.
do. So it's just like, ma'am, that won't work. So we ended up agreeing on this. She ended up pushing the closing day. She tried to jump around us. She pulled a Kyrie Irving on us where she went
Oh
behind the
man, she was
back.
Kyrie. Oh, she was behind the back, through the legs, spin around. Oh man, she was sweet with it, dude. She was.
She was Kyrie Irving on us toward the end.
Oh man.
Oh, you
So
can't
here
do
go the assignment fee. We showed y'all the purchase sales agreement with the lady. We showed y'all the addendum to get the price down, and then here's the assignment fee right here, where we sign with our end buyer. And these contracts was written up by the VA that works for me, Laura. Shout out to Laura, man.
I don't know how the
She,
audio is coming
man,
through live here, but we need like something to come down. Shout out to Laura. Laura deserves an employee appreciation
oh yeah.
something. Shout out when you find I've always heard this, and I'm sure we've all always heard this.
When you
Good,
find a Lord, you find a good thing.
he who finds himself a Laura, but no, good work is hard to find. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Good or good help is hard to, just in general, that concept. Good help, good work is hard to find. But he who findeth himself a Laura findeth himself a good thing. This is a hard
Yeah,
worker
dude.
employee, which we're probably like I was talking about. We might need to do a fundamental Friday on the like hiring VAs, working with them, training with them, and just like integrating
Hey,
a
or just
loyal.
bring Laura in, man.
Yeah, we might. Let us know if
We
y'all want
make
to
fun of her
fundamental
Friday,
Friday.
bring Laura. Yeah, bring Laura onto the live, man, and just
Are we gonna bring
you
Laura
know,
onto the live? That means
bring
Laura
Laura onto the
calls
live.
her productivity for the day.
We may have to get her for like maybe 15 minutes. We could bring her on for a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna give just Laura just like
Give a little
shout out
space.
Laura, like Laura, what I'm saying, you the greatest. You doing your thizzle. Um, so, but yeah, for sure. But Laura was filling all of this paperwork out. We're wrestling, and I want to add something. This is the assignment, so this is like job well done, which we can show you the other. But I'll go ahead and close this deal out how it looked on from my angle. By the time she ended up closing and we made it to the closing table, every last suggestion that I suggested to her from the beginning, let's get some movers. Let's buy a storage so we can move everything out of the property to expedite the closing. Let's
Hey,
do all.
one thing though. Check this out though. That lady right there,
Okay.
and this other lady in Tennessee on the Arthur's Court property. Both of them needed to be coached through what they needed to do to get this to the close. or to move out. It's like people don't understand. Like people don't like you have to tell them. It's like, hey, look, this is what you need to do. Like you have to tell them. It's like you can't assume that they're gonna know to get movers. They're gonna know to, get this, do that. It's like, nah. Hey, call the storage unit up there. Hey, here go their phone number. Hey, the company name is this. Hey, and then creating that sense of urgency for them. Like you had to create a sense of urgency for her. You had to create a sense of urgency. Like you have to put the foot on the neck and like, dude, no, you gotta go. It's like you have to put your foot on their neck. In both cases, you had to do that. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You are 100% right, and I think every situation or most situations, it's not going to be just like a lay down situation with the seller where they're
Like that. You
I
feel
mean,
like
but
this
I've had those where the dude, like, hey, I know you gotta. They'll come to you and they'll just be like, I know you gotta make a profit. I don't want much. Just take it. My first deal was I ain't even gonna call it. It was like a lay down, and to this day,
lay down.
I call that man, and he'd be like, man, I'm just glad you made some money. Like to this day, he's still happy that I made money on it. He just laid down. He was just a nice guy. I don't know what it was.
You just
Um,
laid down.
he got what he needed, and I was able to get that, and he was happy for me. But for the most part, people don't understand. They kind of just assume, you know, we are investors, we're a company. You guys just got all the money in the world, and they can only see in terms of, okay, this is what works for me. And so the day I always say this, the days of the cheesy car salesman is over with. If you really want to get good at this, it's about educating. That's what Byron is talking about. You have to, well, first of all, it's about educating yourself first. So that means we're asking the right questions, understanding what their situations, their real needs are. That's what I meant the other day when I said I don't dictate anything. I'm not telling them that this is the urgency. I'm asking them the right questions. I'm like, wow, right there. You just told me what the urgency was. We can agree because you just said it. I didn't tell you that. You just said that's the urgency. You said you need to get the property cleared out so you can pay for your daughter's surgery and you can move on to the next. That other lady in Arthur's Court, you said that you want to get but once I find it, I'm laying into it. I'm letting her know, well, we can solve that problem. If we can just buy the property, we can do this, sign here. You know what I mean? I'm laying into it. And I'm, like you said, I'm putting my foot on it. And I put my foot on it but I don't try to tell them it. I figured it out first, but I'm putting my foot on it because if they don't have that, then it could be like mouse a cookie.
Yeah.
It's give them mouse a cookie, and they're gonna keep thinking we got all of this time. They don't realize that time is money because we're coming to them, offering them a solution to their problem. We're saying, hey, you ain't got us, you not. If we agree to this number and you take all the time in the world to close, you don't lose a penny. We do. You know what I mean? Time is money for us, not for you. You know what I mean? And so it's not my job to just like, oh, yeah, I'm not trying to manipulate them with some sort of, no, I'm educating them. I'm educating myself first on what they need. And I was like, okay, so based upon what you said, this, and this has to line up. Based upon what you said, I know you don't know this, but I do. So it's like it's an educational process. You're really teaching them. And you got to be true. You got to be genuine and honest because, I mean, they can see right through the trash. But think about it like that. It's just like, get the urgency out of them. Educate yourself first. That's how I look at it. Like I'm going in, I'm asking questions first. But then once we get to the sale, it's like, okay, based upon all of this, let me let you understand. Let me draw you into my world. Okay. I even heard Keith Everett, he said it like that. He said, well, let me paint the picture from my end of the story. Let me pull you into my world just a little bit. We're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to do this, and we're gonna have to do this and this and this and this. And based upon what you're telling me, it looks like this is your problem, this is your problem. Here's the best solution. Agree. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this would solve that problem, wouldn't it? Or we can get this done if we did this and this. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Man.
But I do want to point out all of that teaching and educating the seller to this property, she was vehemently opposed to doing any of it. She was like, no, 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 because she was just so stuck on the 15K. I was like, listen, that's off the table, bro. Like Byron said, I remember I called them at one point. I was like, she's saying this and she's saying that. Byron was like, tell her it's off the table.
Yeah.
Tell her it's off the table. I was like, you know what? You're right. Hey, it's off the table. What do we go? What do we need to? So you keep trying to get that. It's like, ma'am, I'm not. And she kept telling me, well, the only reason why I came down on price because you guys like used that as a bargaining chip, as a negotiation chip, the 15K up front. I was like, hold on.
Think about it, man. I think that she ain't really have no other options like that, man.
No, she didn't. No, she
didn't. 15 to 3K, and it was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Dog, she had zero other dog. Look at what everybody's saying. Look at what everybody's saying on this live. Wasn't nobody about to give her no 15K. I asked her. She was just like, well, another buyer was going to do it, but he was just taking too long. I was like, why do you think he was taking too long? Maybe he was running into the same problem we ran into. Because I told her we wasn't just using that as some pretend bargaining chip. We was at the bank about to send the money, but our attorney said no. Our attorneys told us not to. We cannot do that. It's ill-advised as per the professionals that we pay to advise us. And she was just like, well, you were using it as a bargaining chip. I was like, no, we were going to send you that money 100%. We were full speed ahead.
And now you got the ability to, you can walk away if you want to. We ain't like, it's like, dude, we ain't gonna force you to do nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
though she wanted to move forward.
Well, why don't you go to those other people? She was just like, well, I had another guy. I was like, well, I think he might have ran into that same problem. Maybe his attorney he was like, no, that wasn't a problem. I was like,
okay,
cap. I just told her that right over the phone. I said, cap. Not just I was just like, ma'am, that doesn't make any sense. You had a buyer who was going to pay you more than us and give you more up front. I think she said that guy was going to give her like 25K up front, by the way. So he was going to give you more than us and pay you more than us, but you just decided not to go with him for no reason at all. I'm like, ma'am, let's be real. We're giving you the best option. Nobody was going to give her any money, probably. But again, we were trying to solve the seller's problem. And so she kept saying we're using it as a bargaining chip. No, we weren't, man. We really want to do that, but we couldn't. So there was nobody else. But after I gave her all of those solutions, at the end of it, she ended up closing, and she just did everything that I suggested in the beginning anyway to get it closed. Yeah. She was like, okay, so we need to close. You're supposed to close on Friday. You push it to Monday. Now we need to close this week.
We'll close on Monday. You push it to.
I can't even remember what day it was, bro. She pushed it. She pushed it to the limit. Like Rick Ross.
Yes, straight Rick Rosters.
Straight. She pushed it to the limit, dude. I was like, okay, so what did you do? I'm like, hey, so what's going on? Like, where you at? So I ended up getting a storage, and I ended up hiring movers who are moving everything. I'm like, oh, just like I suggested to you like 3 weeks ago. In this process, we could have been done. You could have had your money. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think I could have done an even better job with educating her. Like, ma'am, it's going to get to this anyway. It's going to get to this anyway. So, but yeah, that's what it's about. Figuring out what is the urgency by asking them. And then once you identify it, you still got to use your antennas, your skill set to identify the real urgency. Because I do this a lot of times too, is where I make a mistake, is where I've tried too fast to identify the urgency, and that might not even be it. And you look foolish when you do that. If you jump on something and all the seller got to do is just pull the rug, like on Charlie Brown, where she's got the football, he's about to kick it, and she move it at the last minute. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And she moved at the last minute, he just flat on his back. That's what you look like when a seller's just like, well, yeah, I got this going on. So it looks like you're trying to close quickly, and we can close quickly on your property, man. We can get your property closed in as little as 10 days. And then they say something like, well, I don't got to close quickly. I ain't in no rush. I can close. I can hold it forever. And you like, oh, dang, I loaded up on that one. I gave it my all on the whole close quickly. And that wasn't their real concern for selling.
But at least they're making it seem that way.
Yeah, but you got to just ask the right question. You got to be sure.
You got to ask the right question, because they be capping for sure. I hold on to the property. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true because they even saying it. They even just say that just to say that, just to pull the football right out from under you. But
Yeah,
they
for sure,
really it
man.
is urgency. But you got to get the paired wide open. Maybe what I'm saying. Maybe they do, but they just capping. But if you waited a little bit and just ask them, well, okay, so you closing quickly is closing quickly super important to you? Is that what you're looking for? Okay, is there any particular reason why you would want to close? Well, and this and this and that and this and that. Go even further. Okay, well, I mean, what's going on with that? How does that make you feel? Or, or just ask an appropriate question for whatever they're talking about. And the more questions that you ask about that in going in that direction, the better you are likely going to find. If you remember yesterday, we did that yesterday when I called that guy, when we called some people on the live.
Yeah.
You remember with that guy from Florida, the first thing we started talking about wasn't the house. It was about his retirement and him being in
Yeah,
retirement.
sure.
You see what I'm saying? I said,
Yeah.
let's deviate, but we're going to get back onto it. But I'm talking about that. And he like bring up some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let me know some stuff about some stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And we closed this mug, man. Here go the
The
little
HUD.
hug. Hey, man, I had to show y'all this because it's like, I really like the fact that we could. This is what you call a blind HUD, right? Blind. This sign ain't blind. Well, it is. I guess kind of blind to what the seller got going on. So this is the buyer side. So the buyer side, they paying us a 15K assignment fee. That covered that 3K and our 12K assignment. And then this is the beauty of it right here, man. Beauty. Whew. Just you just man, this tastes so good. This tastes so good. It's like this is what the seller sees. Like the seller do not see your assignment fee. Like that assignment fee could be $500,000.
Right.
The seller would never know. Oh man, that's beauty, beautiful. This is like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah,
It's
man. You know what I think is beautiful is the fact that Byron could do pass-through funding. He could
yeah,
do pass-through funding. I could get blind HUDs. You get the right title company, they get the, you get benefits. But you need to
yeah.
know what your benefits
Like
are.
I'm just like a lot of people ask, like, what you mean by blind hoods? Like this is what we talking about.
Is they
Like,
just they put it there in the hood, but the on the seller's documents they don't see it. And
yeah,
actually, I worked with this title company for years before I figured this out. I actually did a JV with another. Was he buying it? No, 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 no. It was a dude. Yeah, 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 yeah. He was J. It was a JV. And then he would just text me. He was like, "Hey, can we do a blind HUD?" I was like, "I don't know. I ain't never asked him nothing about that." And then he emailed. We was on the same email thread with the closing attorney. And he emailed her. He was like, "Hey, can we do a blind HUD?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness!" And I was just, "What is going on?" I
yeah,
was
for sure.
like,
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, blind hood, man. That lady didn't owe nothing against his property. Don't seem like except
I don't think.
she had a lot of taxes she hadn't paid. Like, dude, she had a boatload, like $16,000 worth of taxes.
Oh
It's down
man,
there at the bottom. You see what it say settlement charges?
yeah, I
Yeah,
see.
she had like 12. She had a lot of taxes that she needed to pay. Put it like that. Like she hadn't paid taxes in years. You know what I'm saying?
16,000. Wow.
Yeah, she hadn't paid the taxes in years. So, but yeah, man. Uh, but that's it, man. That was the whole thing. We took you from how we contacted her, how we talked to her, how we got under contract, showed you all the different paperwork associated with the deal, man, and how we got it to the closing table, man. So that's the deal deep dive, man. I don't know nobody else who really diving deep into it like that, to be honest with y'all, and kind of being more transparent and showing you everything. But yeah, man. Uh, that's the deal deep dive Thursday, man. That's a real good one. Next Thursday, we'll show you this one that we did up in Clarksville again, man. We've been at close by next Thursday. So, but we'll see. It's been an interesting one, but still gonna be good though. Should be at least a good 40 ball, 40
Yeah.
ball at least. So show you a good 40 balls, let you see what a 40 ball look like.
You know what, man? I really think, and I could be just crazy. I really think the buyer is gonna come to us and they're gonna tell us last minute, "Hey, I want to pay y'all 15 extra thousand for this." Something on my heart, I want to pay y'all extra
I
15K.
don't think so.
I
Hey,
think
but we do have 8 people on here, man. Y'all subscribe to my new channel.
I,
It's Byron Scott. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. And y'all hit up Cordero, man. I think Cordero got his you gotta get his IG up, man. We gotta get Cordero to get on IG. So go say something to him on IG.
man,
To
we gonna be on that thing. I'm gonna get my IG, my
yeah,
YouTube thing. So that way, because my YouTube will have specialized content about community, like talking with sellers. So if you really want to sharpen your skill set up, talking to sellers, just like really breaking it down tactically and mindset wise. I think I'm doing, a little bit of both. So it's not just say this. It's like so you can really understand why you saying this, what the seller thinking, and also can put you in the right mindset that you'll have the confidence to say that on the phone. Because it's not just about say this. It's like you might be like, well, Cordero can say it, but I can't. It's like, nah, you got it. But we'll talk about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, as my mom always used to say. But I did
yeah.
want to give shout outs, man. Shout out to Jordan for
Oh
coming
yeah,
on here.
shout out to Jordan, man. Shout out to Rolex, man. You don't get Rolex rolled through every day, man. You gotta shout out Rolex, man. Shout out
Yeah,
Jordan out
man.
there in
That's a
St. Louis.
Rolex.
St. Louis
But
out there.
Jordan, shout out Jordan, because Jordan, you know what, dog? That property, the one property that had the fire, that burnt down, bro. I be having
Oh
nightmares about that
man.
sometimes. I be waking up, and then the thing about it is, like the next week, Jordan bounced right back. We're like, oh, I got another 20K
Bounce
deals.
back like magic. How they do
Jordan went
that?
down. Jordan wasn't thinking, man, what I'm gonna do now. Jordan was just like, bro. So
he was like, oh no, man, I got me another deal.
dang, that's crazy. Let's keep it pushing. I was like, hey, like that was like that's real, that's real motivation. That's just real, like that's the mindset you gotta be in. It seemed like Jordan, he said, I got PTSD from that. Jordan got the Vietnam flashbacks, but Jordan can't bounce right back.
Dude,
PTSD.
that's some crazy stuff though.
So.
You can let your chick and then have to get that job back. Oh man, that's stupid.
Hey, Jordan got a check back like this. Was he was the, then he came right back. That's what I'm tripping off of. That's why I be like, bro, that's to me, that's worst case scenario, right? And then
yeah.
oh yeah, by the way, I got another deal. And then it's like, oh, worst case scenario can happen and you can keep going.
Yeah.
In this business. Like we done had sellers cancel contracts on us. They didn't even cancel. They just sold the property to somebody before without telling us, we still expecting to close. And the closing attorney's like, oh, that property, somebody else bought that property. He was like, what? No. And we kept going and we got deals. We're still getting deals. It's just like, oh, I just want y'all to know, like, there's no need to have fear in regards to this business, man. I mean, in anything in life, because what they say, what don't kill you make you stronger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's real. That's real, man. You just get off into that mindset, never again. Never happen again. I bet you that'll never happen to Jordan. That'll never happen to Jordan again. He go like, we're gonna check that property. Go walk the property the day before we close. He's gonna have 24-hour surveillance on any property he got under contract.
Exactly, dude. For sure. But shoot, man, we've been on this thing about an hour, 13 minutes, man. We had a good one today. A good deal deep dive. Go back and check it out, man. You want to see how stuff get done. A deal get done with an assignment. You can go check it out, man. And shoot, we'll be back tomorrow with a Fundamental Friday. If you got something you want us to show you for Fundamental Friday, leave it in the comments below or just hit one of us up. Let us know what you want to learn, man. And we'll be on it. But shoot, man.
If y'all want us to talk about the VAs, man, tomorrow, let us know in this comment. Whatever, just hit us up. Let us know. But shout out to y'all, man.
Shout out to everybody, man. But till next time, man. Peace out.